Caleb, obviously you guys have seen Charlotte, I guess twice if you count the preseason, but once in the regular season. How much does that one game, not the result you probably won at home, but how much does that help you in preparing for part two against them?
Yeah, I think always when you play a team multiple times, you start to get more and more of an understanding of their strengths and weaknesses and what worked in the last game and what didn't work. So that never hurts. I always feel like late in the year, teams start to become who they are. All teams make their habits, and then their habits make them. So the good, the things that they can hurt you, the ways they can hurt you, the ways that you can hurt them. So I think that never hurts in terms of game planning and execution.
Does going to a new stadium for the first time change anything for you guys in terms of just how you handle game day? You go earlier to check things out or anything like that, or is it just business as usual?
Yeah, business as usual. Obviously, we show film, so they see the environment. We talk about that. They see the turf, and those are little things that they'll make adjustments for. I think for our players, it's exciting to have a new stadium to play in and a big crowd. There's a lot of energy, it seems, in the stadium, and they play well. They feed off it. They've been good at home.
When you look over this 9-game unbeaten run at the draws, is there, because some of them have been low scoring, but there's also been like the DC game, is there any one or two things that have been the difference? I know it's usually little things between the games that you've won in this stretch and the games that you've tied.
Yeah, I think the home draws have been disappointing. You have to keep in mind that in this 9-game stretch, a lot of the games were on the road, and we got some very good road draws, which you'll always take. But I think in the home games, we didn't find that little bit extra quality to unlock the opponent to get the win. But I do love that this team is tough to beat, and no matter what happens, we buckle down. We have a tough mentality. We don't give away losses, and that's really important in this league because after this next week we're gonna have 10 games to go in the season, and I always say at first day of preseason, every game matters, every point adds up, and usually the league's decided on the last day, decision day, and oftentimes it's by 1 point. And when you look at us last year, we won on the last day. We did our part. We won the last 3 games in a row. We did our part the last 3 games, but we missed it by 1 point. So all the points we're collecting, accumulate, and when you look at it, it's like we've got 3 extra wins because of the draws.
And we saw Artur out there. How much more is he able to do, and what's his, I know we asked you a couple weeks ago about him, what's his timeline?
Yeah, it looks better and better. He's feeling very good. He's having no pain, which is good. He's been out 2 months, so this is his first week back in training. He's a competitor. He wants to be in, he wants to play. We have obviously opportunities next week. There will need to be some rotation. New York City doesn't play a midweek game, and there's a 2-day window in between the Wednesday and the Saturday, so it's a very tight window. So we're going to need all hands on deck. We're going to need to be smart with rotations, so we continue to win games, but don't get guys injured for the playoffs. But at this point, we need points. So, but we have to be smart. So. It's great that our injury report is essentially completely clean. So we have a 1, 2, almost 3 in every position now, which gives us great options. So Artie's certainly now starting to get in a position where he can be available. Is it this game? Is it the next game? How many minutes? Those are things I think we're trying to sort through and figure out. I would say that he's still working back into being what I would call full out available for selection to start.
instead of building out that, is he going to make the trip?
I'm not going to give you my dress list here or the starting lineup.
Okay,
Yeah.
just asking. Kind of shifting gears here, obviously the way that Cucho hit the ground running here and the offense just kind of took off a little bit. I'm sure you anticipated that other teams were going to start, if they had to, packing it in a little bit, and we saw that with New England. Do you anticipate more of that going forward just because it seemed to slow them down a bit?
Depends on the team. Depends on the team, depends probably on the game and whether it's home or away. I think with New England coming off 2 losses and coming on the road, the form we were in, they needed to, claw out a point. They need to play the way they played. Is every team going to choose to do that? No. Is every team, if they choose to do that, going to be as effective doing that? No. So, I think it was a game where I felt watching it, we should have still scored. Obviously had a couple really good plays. Kessler headed the ball off a line. We played well enough to win, but I also thought New England played extremely well defensively. So, is that now the clone game plan? I'm not worried about that.
Yeah. This wouldn't be pressure per se, but when you have a Cucho and you have Lucas obviously drawing attention to themselves, does it step up the importance for other guys to give you some secondary scoring there that, if teams are going to dedicate resources, whatever, to stop them?
Yeah, I think if you have your attack executing the way, we want it to work and execute, then you can't take one guy away or 2 guys away. You can't take away the central channel or the wide channels, and I think the way that we set up our attack, we can hurt you wide, we can hurt you central, we can hurt you in many different ways, whether it's combination play, whether it's 1v1s and 2v1s, or overloads wide to attract and switch, and then run wing progressions, or cut runs with late runs from the midfielders. So we're a pretty multifaceted attack with a lot of versatility in how we can create chances and score goals. And I'll go back to, again, we got 20 box entries last game, so that's more than enough to score.
Yeah. This unbeaten streak, I don't know if you want to knock on wood or whatever, but it started before Cucho got here, obviously. What has the addition of what bringing him in, and then the way you guys have played since then, what has that done for the confidence level? I'm sure the confidence was already high beforehand, but have you noticed it kind of go up a little bit more even? Yeah, and I think,
obviously you worry about sometimes complacency, confidence without a little tension becomes complacency, but I didn't see that in this group this week. I saw hunger, I saw an edge, I saw a group of guys that wanted to improve, that didn't like that they didn't win at home and that they didn't score. There was a little bit of a chip on their shoulder. So, I love when I have a group that's not celebrating draws, that's not, thinking that they're where they need to be. I think they all know there's more, there's another level in this team, and that's good because, we need to be peaking at the right time, which is in these last 13 games, flying at the end of the year and not just, limping into the playoffs. We want to be knocking the door down and fighting for the top 4 in a home game, and I think that's the edge that we want. And this is an important week, kind of going into the stretch run, with 2 home games at the end of the window to really, kind of make a statement. Are we fighting for the top, or are we going to hover around the red line and just, squeak in? And last year we tried to squeak in and, it didn't work. We want to keep pushing for the top, and we're in, right? We've got a whatever it is, 4-point margin, blah, blah, blah. But, we have the chance to overtake some teams ahead of us this week. We're playing one team just below us, this next game, and then we're playing 2 teams that are in front of us. So we need to keep hunting those teams.
Caleb, we're in another one of those 3-game swings. Thinking back to the last time you guys went through this, it seems like it's kind of on and off now, right? Through this 3-week, and then you have a week to prepare, or a 3-game week. What did you like about that last one, and maybe what are you trying to draw out of what you learned in those last 3-game week into this one?
Yeah, so the first 3 and 9, we took 5 points. The second 3 and 9, we took 7 points. So I like that we took more points in the second one than the first one. Can we now take 9 points? I think we got to take it one at a time, but, you know, in those windows we had road games, you know, in this one we have 2 home games. So, you know, I don't like that New York doesn't have a midweek game, you know. I hate when the league does schedules like that and it doesn't align, because just it means they're going to have all week to prepare for us, and they're going to be completely fresh. But I don't worry about our ability to get to that Saturday in the home game and be ready physically and mentally. I don't worry about that at all, you know. And sometimes you can overrate, you know, whether you're fresh or not. You know, that's a big trap in this league. So we're going to take it one at a time. We have a tentative plan, like always, on what we'll do rotation-wise, but we need to evaluate after the game where guys are at. Things sometimes pop up. I will knock on wood for that. You know, you don't want to take injuries, but things pop up. But we have a tentative plan of rotation that we think will be a smart choice based on injury history of guys. And also we have a handful of players that we view as starters, where we play them, they don't miss a beat, you know, whereas in some positions, if we rotate, we drop a level, you know. So can we keep continuity, keep some freshness in the team, avoid injury, and then you got to use your 5 subs as well. So that's massively important in this window, to use your 5 subs. And you saw that, you know, with some of our halftime subs, made a big difference, because the difference between a 90-minute load and a 45 is, you know, is huge.
Yeah. Over the time that you've taken over here at Columbus, this team is the best when it scored in MLS, when it scored the first goal, or the best record in MLS. What does that say about the mentality of the group, the culture that has been created here?
I think it's the way we play. You know, when we get our nose in front, we're a team that can control games, get the next goal, but also it shows a very strong mentality, which for me is the players, the locker room, all the intangible things that we preach. Good teams score the first goal, good teams win when they score the first goal. The percentages are staggering in our sport on the first goal. It's typically like 80% or more. You don't lose. So the first goal is key. I'd like to see us score it more, but I love that, yeah, we have a strong mentality when our nose is in front, and we play to win. You know, I think that's, you know, we're a team that plays to win. We play aggressive when we're at our best, when we're healthy. You know, that's the way I've always preferred to play. There have been some games this year and last year when we were injured and we had to try to manufacture results in a different way, be a little bit more ugly, pragmatic. I'm proud that we were able to do that. I don't always lay my head on the pillow after those results and go, that was great. Yeah. The win was, but you know, I prefer, and I think the players in this group, in this locker room, prefer to play aggressively. But I think I've also wanted, in the 4th year of a cycle, this team to be more flexible, and I'm very proud of the fact that they've adjusted into different formations and done different things, and we're not as predictable, you know.
Okay, thanks, Caleb.
Thanks.